We begin tonight in Loudoun County, where the weekend murder of a 15-year-old Boy Scout is on the minds of many. Monday, 50 cadets from the police academy combed the area around where Eric Van Niederryan's body was found Friday night. He was walking on a dark bike path along Countryside Boulevard, less than a mile from his home, when somebody shot him twice. Busloads of American seniors routinely cross the Canadian border to buy cheaper prescription drugs. In response, the U.S. Congress recently proposed legislation allowing importation of drugs from Canada and forcing companies to equalize drug prices for all their customers. This means prices in the U.S. would drop, but the cost of drugs in Canada could go up. More than 60,000 Canadians left for the United States last year, enough people to populate a small city. Skilled Canadians are heading south for lower taxes and a stronger economy. The new numbers have prompted calls for the government to stem the so-called brain drain. By sending the Microsoft antitrust case to the Court of Appeals, the U.S. Supreme Court weakened the government's bid to break up the software giant because the Justice Department's strategy depended on a speedy trial. But technology specialists say change takes place so rapidly in the computer industry, the government may be forced to abandon its plans to break up Microsoft. With only weeks to go before the U.S. presidential election, prescription drug coverage for seniors is one issue that has voters talking. Texas Governor George W. Bush proposes increasing the role of the private healthcare sector to cover prescription drug costs, while Vice President Al Gore plans to expand Medicare to handle those expenses. Public policy analyst Jack Strayer questions Gore's approach.
Gore's plan definitely is one size fits all. The same benefit is going to be available to Bill Gates, and it's going to be available to the people who clean Bill Gates' swimming pool.
Capitol Hill pharmacist Ed Dillon says he'll be paid one way or another, but he's concerned about his clients.
Personally, I'm more in favor of Mr. Gore's proposal or the Democratic alternative, only because our experience with HMOs and managed care has been that the profit motive sometimes gets in the way of patient care.
And what about the people who are affected?
My mother was paying $60 for 4 tablets. That's too much.
And I do think that right now there needs to be some sort of emergency thing done for people who are struggling to pay for very costly prescriptions.
I think we need cheaper prescription drugs, better support program of some kind, and I don't really see that being addressed head-on by anybody.
Although prescription drugs for seniors may not be on the top of the list in this campaign, this issue will have an impact on everyone. And whether Bush or Gore is elected, the U.S. Congress will have the final word. This is Timothy Go on Capitol Hill. The Chinese government considers these people a threat.
We tremendously benefit from this practice, physically, mentally, and spiritually.
This is support I can get, and to the rest of my life I am going to stay with Falun Gong because this is the best what life brought to me.
They give people a kind of appearance that they are peaceful, but they exercise what we call a mind control.
Today in Washington, a group of Falun Gong demonstrators practice meditation. Founded just 9 years ago, the movement has already grown to more than 1 million.
It has given me the things that I was looking for in life, a means to raise my spiritual level, my physical level, and my health levels.
A little more than a year ago, with rising concerns from both religious and political factions, Falun Gong was banned by the Chinese government. Since then, practitioners report there has been imprisonment, torture, even death.
2 arms crossed behind my back, handcuff me like this forcefully, and handcuff me like that for a half hour. Also, every 5 minutes, I was electrically shocked.
Concerned about oppression of their followers in China, Falun Gong leaders try to rally international support.
So many people are practicing that. Government feel threatened by the popularity of the practice, but it is good for the people and good for the country.
The Falun Gong has proved with its own action that it's a threat to China's stability. That's why its ban has enjoyed great support from the Chinese population, including the religious communities.
While the Chinese government continues to oppose the Falun Gong movement, Its exercises are gaining in popularity and are practiced in small groups around the world. I'm Timothy Go in Washington. Good evening, I'm Timothy Go. Thanks for joining us on the Late Night Report. Coming up, the shooting death of a Loudoun County teenager has residents concerned about safety in their neighborhood. Safety issues on a local highway. Investigators say Firestone tires are to blame for this bad accident in Prince George's County. And how much will it cost to finish this highway project? The newest numbers are in, and it's getting more expensive. We begin tonight in Loudoun County, where the weekend murder of a 15-year-old Boy Scout is on the minds of many. Monday, 50 cadets from the police academy combed the area around where Eric Van Niederryan's body was found Friday night. He was walking on a dark bike path along Countryside Boulevard, less than a mile from his home, when somebody shot him twice. He was headed to Safeway to buy supplies for a weekend scouting trip. Investigators don't know who fired the shots or what their motive was. Monday, his mother stopped at the scene to thank police for their effort.
And I have no doubt that my son is singing and having a great time in heaven. You know, he's with the Lord. So my grief is for my loss, that I don't have my baby, and for the community's loss.
Friday night's fatal shooting also has neighbors rethinking the safety of their neighborhood. As Amy Hybels reports, a community which once firmly opposed the installation of streetlights may be having second thoughts.
Now, there are plans to address this very issue at a neighborhood meeting scheduled for later this week. I spoke with the Homeowners Association President Bruce Tulloch, who tells me that the Countryside Proprietary Board acts on behalf of the residents. And if this is something that they want, he says this issue will be revisited. In Sterling, Amy Hybels, News Channel 8.
A close call on the Prince George's County Highway. The driver of an SUV lost control, and investigators say it looks like Firestone tires are to blame. It happened Monday on Route 5 in Camp Springs. Police say Linda Norford was driving this Mercury, Montana, when she felt the rear left tire came unraveled.
I heard something like some unraveling, and I lost control, and next thing I know, we was upside down.
It is, in my opinion, that the investigation did reveal that the tire, by exploding or coming unraveled, is the cause of this accident.
The tire was a Firestone Wilderness AT, one of the tires included in the recall, and Mercury is a product of Ford Motors, which is also involved in the same recall. Norford says she was on a waiting list for replacements. Despite the damage to their car, Norford, her son, and grandchild suffered only few bumps and bruises. And the weather tonight calls for cloudy skies with a chance of rain, lows in the mid-40s. I'm Timothy Go. Thanks for joining us.